Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about planning a trip to Easter Island in 2025. I'll talk about the forms you need to fill out, how to get to the island, and what you can expect at the airport. And as a bonus, I'm going to show you how you can redeem your credit card points and airline miles to book this incredible trip. Now, I know there are plenty of how-to videos on visiting Easter Island already, but if you're watching anything from 2023 or even early 2024, those videos might be outdated by now, so you definitely want to watch some more recent videos like this one. Especially if you're watching a video still talking about needing COVID vaccinations, then yeah, you can ignore all that. That's no longer a thing. But before I begin, I just want to address one thing, and that is the name. In this video, I'll refer to the island as Easter Island, but when you're in Chile or referring to the island in Spanish, they actually call it Isla de Pascua. I'm probably butchering that, but just keep that in mind in case you're at the airport or when you're looking at your boarding pass. If you see Isla de Pascua on your boarding pass, just relax. You're going to the right place. But the other name you need to be aware of is the Polynesian name for the island, and that is Rapa Nui. This is the original name for the island given to it by the indigenous Polynesians who originally settled here long before the Europeans arrived. Now let's talk about how to get here, and this is an easy one because flying is the only way to get here, but more specifically, flying from the city of Santiago in Chile is the only way to get here. That's because officially Easter Island is a special territory of the country of Chile, and there is only one, sometimes two, flights a day from the capital city to this tiny remote island in the middle of the Pacific. This flight is operated by LATAM Airlines, which is the largest airline in Latin America, and there are no other flights from any other airline or any other country to Easter Island. Because of its remote location and limited flight schedule, flight prices to Easter Island can be expensive, but I find it's cheaper to book tickets to Santiago first and then add flights to Easter Island separately. Depending on the season, round-trip flights from Santiago to Easter Island should only cost you a couple $100s or so, but you can definitely find cheaper prices if you use a VPN and buy directly from LATAM's Chilean website. This can save you hundreds of dollars, but you need to be careful of flight delays and cancellations. Booking two separate tickets doesn't protect you if your first flight is delayed or canceled, so my recommendation is that you give yourself a buffer just in case anything goes wrong. If you're connecting on two separate tickets with only a few hours in between, that's cutting it really closely, so don't do that. If you have airline miles, I would definitely use them to save some money. LATAM is in a weird transitional stage right now where they're leaving oneworld and joining SkyTeam, but for the time being, you can still use both oneworld partners such as Qantas and Alaska Airlines and SkyTeam partners such as Delta to book LATAM operated flights. For example, you can use Delta SkyMiles to book tickets from Santiago to Easter Island for 21,000 SkyMiles each way in economy class, or check this out, you can use Alaska Airline miles to book the same flight for 35,000 miles each way in business class. That is a no-brainer for me, and if you have miles, go for it. This is a really cheap way to enjoy business class, and if you've never flown business class before, then this is the time to do it. Here's another tip for you, just in case you didn't know. Hawaiian Airlines and Alaska Airlines just recently merged, and you can now transfer miles from one mileage program to the other free of charge. So how is that significant, you ask? Well, that's because Hawaiian Airlines is an American Express transfer partner. So if you have American Express membership rewards points, then you can transfer those points to Hawaiian Airlines and then transfer them to Alaska Airlines to book this flight. With this new partnership, Alaska Airlines has become a de facto American Express transfer partner, so you should have no problem earning enough points to book these flights. Now, there is one caveat to this, and that is award seats are limited, so you need to be flexible with your dates. But if you can make the dates work, then go for it. You won't find a better deal anywhere. So now that you have your flights booked, the next thing you need is a hotel. That's because you won't be able to visit the island or fill out any of the necessary forms without first having a hotel. Get yourself a hotel room. Now for this trip, we stayed at the Te Ariki in Hangaroa, but if I'm being honest, it wasn't my favorite. Don't get me wrong, the hotel wasn't bad and it was perfectly fine for our short trip, but it was on the basic side and I would have preferred something a tad bit nicer. Now let's talk about documents. For Americans, you will need a passport, but you will not need a visa to visit Chile or Easter Island. But what you will need is an Easter Island registration form, otherwise known as an FUI form, and a Rapa Nui National Park ticket. You can get both online prior to your visit, and I will link both of these documents in the video description below. The registration form is like a permission form to visit the island, and it's super easy. Just fill out the form online and you'll get a confirmation email shortly after that. You can print up your confirmation email as proof, but you really don't need to. You can just keep it readily available on your phone, either as a PDF or as a screenshot. As for the national park ticket, you technically don't need one to visit the island, but you won't be able to see anything cool without it. So just get one ahead of time and keep it with you when you get to the island. Again, you won't need to print it out, just have it readily available on your phone, either as a PDF or as a screenshot. Now that you have your flights, hotels, and required documents out of the way, let's talk about the airport experience. When you arrive at the airport, you will need to go to Terminal 1, which is the domestic terminal, or as the Chileans call it, the national terminal. If you're arriving from an international flight, that's in Terminal 2, so you will need to make your way over to Terminal 1. Once in Terminal 1, just look for the LATAM counters and check in according to your travel class. For business class passengers, the business class check-in is located in the center of the terminal, and the economy class counters are located to the right of that. And to the right of that, there are special counters specifically for Easter Island flights. If you're flying in economy class, I would check in here, but if this area is closed, you can also use the normal economy class check-in counters as well. With your boarding pass in hand, head towards the security check, but follow the signs for Easter Island. There will be a separate line just for Easter Island passengers directly to the right of the main entrance for the security line. This would lead you to an immigration officer who will first check your FUI registration form and your boarding pass before letting you through. They will give you a PDI form as proof of your approval, but do not lose this form. You're going to need it again when leaving the island. Overall, the entire process doesn't take long, but you should add some extra time to account for this immigration check. If you're flying in economy class, I would arrive at the airport 2.5 to 3 hours before your scheduled departure time. For business class travelers, 2 hours is perfectly fine. This flight will take you about 5 hours, and all passengers, even in economy class, will receive a meal on board. Once you land at Mataveri International Airport, you'll be on the island. There are no further immigration or security checks, but you may encounter random customs checks to make sure you aren't carrying any prohibited items in your bags. In addition to the normal animal and plant products that you're not allowed to have, they also forbid you from bringing any honey to the island. I know this sounds random, but it's to protect the local bee population on the island. And that's it. That's all you need to know about visiting the island in 2025. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to be notified of my other Easter Island videos, feel free to subscribe and hit the notification button. I should have more videos on Easter Island coming up soon, including my LATAM business class flight review, my review of the Te Ariki Hotel, and another video on the easiest way to spend 4 days in Easter Island. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. That's all for now. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.